It's time to do a little report back on our 200-hour yoga teacher training, which we started last week. I wanted to capture what we did, and I made a huge timeline of everything we did to promote our yoga teacher training. It ended up being 4 pages long. Instead, we thought we would make this video to kind of give a little concise overview of some of the highlights of our yoga teacher training promotion and what the results were, including the financials. Welcome to the Yoga Trainer Fast Track.
We help experienced yoga teachers become trainers in their very own yoga teacher training school.
If you wish it was easier to have your own training,
like and subscribe to get free resources. Let's get started.
So shall we dive in?
Let's look at it. We only gave ourselves about 2 months leadway from the time we decided to offer a training together till the day we started.
Here's our timeline. We saw each other in person when I was on holiday. Remember that time we met in my camper in July?
You were in my province, so I was happy to see you.
Even and you had just moved and you had like, oh my gosh, we were on holidays. We didn't get much done, but we kind of started like, should we offer the yoga teacher training? And we had been doing so much work on the yoga trainer fast track. Like it was nice to go back to like why we're doing it and how great it is to teach the training.
Yeah, it's nice to be back teaching yoga instead of marketing yoga, even though we had to market our yoga program. But we did start our training last week and it was amazing to be teaching yoga again.
Yeah. On the timeline I'm looking at now, like around August 7th, I have the record that I sent out a newsletter and we said, well, let's just see, because you felt like you didn't have that many people interested. You had already worked your list quite a bit, and I have never offered the 200-hour training. I just was ready for a change because I've been doing the kids yoga training and I was ready to just kind of take the adult side of the training a little more, just for a new experience, you know, like when you don't want to get stuck in a rut. We were also both pretty busy. And I think the first thing that we did was we decided that neither of us wanted to do the 200-hour training alone because we didn't want to take on all those training hours. So we talked about how we could collaborate with the training. I think once we decided to collaborate, that kind of took the pressure off that, you know, I wouldn't have to commit to all 200 hours, or I guess 160 hours of our online training. And it took the pressure off of like just feeling like I had this big responsibility to deliver. So it was really nice knowing you were going to teach part of it and Parampreet was going to teach the philosophy part of it.
And it was really nice for me because I know I had one person in particular that has been asking for quite some time when my next 200-hour training is going to start. But what people don't know is that I moved across the country. So any training that I deliver is going to be online to the community that I have built. And I haven't quite found my new community yet. So I wasn't quite sure if I was going to have enough people to run a training financial wise, but also we do lots of partner work and for the students' benefit. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to have enough people, but I also really dislike saying no to people who ask for training. So working together worked out really, really great.
And then we were like, but let's just make sure we have enough people because we didn't want to offer the training. Now we've got 3 trainers committed and we didn't want to have like 2 students registered. So we used my strategy that I do with the kids yoga training is I set an early registration deadline, and that gives people an incentive to register early. And in my mind, I'm always thinking like, if I need to cancel, it's enough notice that I can give people their money back, you know, with a reasonable amount of time before the course started, so they know that it's not happening. But that being said, I've never had to actually cancel a course because of that. But just to make sure, I sent out a newsletter with a form in it and said, if anyone's interested in taking a 200-hour training online with these 3 trainers, fill in this form and let us know what format do you want. So we wanted to know, do people want weekends? Do they want weeknights? Do they want an intensive? Our goal would have been for people to pick weekdays. That didn't come up a lot. And we found out how quickly they wanted to graduate. So we did see from our survey, anyways, for the responses we got, that people did want to graduate fairly quickly. Then we set the pace of our training. And at that point, before we started advertising, we had to get it on our websites and choose some dates. Like we had to have some structure around it so that people would know what they're signing up for.
What was really nice was once you created that intake form to gauge their interest and their time, I was then able to copy that and send it out to my list. So collaboration worked really well for me. My life's a little hectic at the moment, so it was really nice to collaborate in that sense to piggyback on the work you had already
Yeah,
done.
and that's what happened with the collaboration too. Like, so then we stuck the course up on our Teachable account, and this would be where students would sign up. But this I took from your website. So this is your website, Yoga Truly. You had already been offering the teacher training for a while. So I took almost all the copy from here and we got it up on here. And then we set our pricing, we set our format, the hours, meet the trainers. So we changed that around. Then we put our pricing in and we set up an installment plan. So for my website, I actually hadn't offered the 200-hour training. So I went in and rearranged the menu of my website so that it would stand out more so people could find it more. So that was the next step, was getting it on our websites. And then we started promoting it.
Those emails really were great for promotion. I know we've talked in the past about marketing without social media, and we did do some social media posts, but I think our newsletters that we both work to send out to people who are already subscribers to the work that we do, so valuable because paid off.
Yeah. The interesting thing was in the timeline, I'm just going to scan through it quickly. I actually highlighted in red when our sign-ups came in. So we started advertising it, I guess the very first mention of it was August 7th. And then we got our first sign up August 31st. So that was like almost 3 weeks of no one actually signing up. And we had set our early registration deadline for September, here it is, September 15th. I think it was the 13th and we extended it a few days. So by the time our early registration deadline came up, we had 3 people registered. We had a fourth one kind of in the wings who was firm. So we kind of knew we were going to have at least 4 people.
And we had spoken as a collective group of trainers prior to that and said, okay, if we promote this, what's the minimum number of people that we would like in the training? And 4 was actually our number. It was enough for us each to financially be able to commit to the training hours. And also, like I mentioned before, for partner work, it divided the training nicely. So with 4, we were happy. More is always nicer. So we kept promoting.
Yeah. And I think for us, like 4 was the number 2 because we had decided we're not going to do it in person. Online, we don't have expenses of a studio rental. We would have needed more if we had those additional expenses to pay. If someone already had a studio and they're already paying that rent, then 4 might be their number as well. So I'm jumping down here to our final numbers, what we did to promote the training. So in total, we started off on July 26th and we started September 26th. That's only 2 months lead time. That's not a lot. We probably could have gotten more people if we had decided to wait longer to start. I bet you we could have gotten more, but we were ready to go. So we went with also what worked for us. So we ended up sending out a total of 19 Instagram posts, 8 Instagram reels, 15 newsletters. As you can see, like 5, 8, and 2, like we all sent out to our list differently. I have a different frequency with my Young Yoga Masters newsletter than you do, Claire, right? But a lot of these, like Claire would write one and I would repurpose it for my newsletter and vice versa. Claire, you don't have a YouTube channel, so I just posted some of the things we had, some of the reels and the posts that we had created for the Ambassador Yoga channel, I re-edited those and reposted them on my Young Yoga Masters YouTube channel. And then the free webinars, it's like we each did two, but it says here total three. I guess technically it's four. The first one we did as a joint webinar, and that saved us time too. One cool thing about all these posts and all these emails that we've done, we can share these in the Yoga Trainer Fast Track course. This is the course that trainers get when they sign up, and you'll see in the course curriculum, there's a section called Promote Your Training, and we're always adding email templates, social media spreadsheets. We have a Canva link where you can go right into Canva and edit and save the social media posts. You can rebrand them, put your colors in, put your logos in. And we're now starting to add the videos that we added to our YouTube site and our reels so that you can just upload them to your YouTube site and your reels.
And at the end of it all, we did end up getting 2 more signups. One actually was past the early bird deadline. We did end up extending it. Aruna had sent out a last minute final notice, last call to sign up for training. It was really wonderful because overnight we woke up to a new sign up, which is great. It's always lovely to think you're making money while you sleep and people are interested in the work that you're doing. We ended up with a total of 6 students, which is wonderful. We got to meet them last week. Everything went great. And really what we want to highlight for you is how that would have translated had we had to purchase the Yoga Trainer Fast Track. So at the price point that we were charging, 6 registrations at $2,100 US works out to $12,600 US dollars. And where that would have gone if you were to purchase the Yoga Trainer Fast Track, $6,000 is your startup fee, and that gets you your manuals and all of your resources. Then there's a 10% license fee, which is 10% of whatever you charge. So in this case, it was $210 per student, which would have left us with $5,340 of income. Now, if this was your first training that you were offering, we want the training to pay for itself. We want your students to pay for that. We want your registration fees to pay for that. And with as little as 6 students, we were able to make a profit.
The next time you offer the training, you don't have to pay the startup fee. So if you can offer the training your second time around with even just 6 students, that time you're making $11,340. There's an opportunity to make even more income through a live in-person training. And I think that's the direction that any yoga teacher needs to go. I'm seeing a lot of trainers going back to the pre-COVID prices for in-person training. So that's over $3,000 for many of our trainers who are back to in-person. That live component is what lets you charge a premium. People want to connect with you as a trainer. So give them what they want. But if you're not sure what your students want, do what we did and just send out a little survey to them and ask them for feedback and find out how quickly they want to graduate, how much do they want online, how much do they want in person. Coming back again to the process, as soon as you join the Yoga Trainer Fast Track program, we would start your application. So even with 2 months lead time, by the time you start your training, your school will most likely be approved by Yoga Alliance. And we submit the whole application for you as your syllabus manager on Yoga Alliance. And we have an account rep that works with us for all our schools. So we know that if we submit the syllabus the way we've submitted in the past, then we know that it will be approved without any question. It's just a matter of time of when it can get to the top of her pile, because she has a big stack of work on her desk too. So by the time you launched your training, your school would be approved and it would be in your own school name and you would be the lead trainer, or you could assign someone else as a lead trainer, or you could collaborate and bring in other trainers and we'll guide you through all of that. Working kind of a little smarter, rather than working harder could be in the best interest of your business. If you have the students who are ready to register, then, when Claire and I started the training, how long did we work? Oh gosh.
To develop the training, it
Yeah.
took years, and then we redeveloped it. And then Yoga Alliance changed their guidelines, so we reformatted it again. So there was a lot of unpaid work essentially until we got to the point where we could deliver it. Actually, I just had a discovery call with somebody who's working as a trainer for a different school, and she felt underpaid as a trainer because she sees that the school makes $3,000 to $4,000 per intake. Yes, and that works once the work has been done. It was years of unpaid work to get to that point. Or collaborate and let us help you do not only that work, but the unknowns of that work. We know that the work that we have done is 5-star approved, graduates love it, Yoga Alliance approves it. All we need to do is pair that with an experienced yoga teacher, and the system works beautifully.
Yeah, it gives you more time to promote your training and do everything necessary to make it a successful training without having to do all the planning and manual writing at the same time.